At the river's edge, a maiden sat. Her beauty, otherworldly, her skin shimmered like polished bronze, and in her hand, she held a mirror carved from cowries and shells. Slowly, she ran a comb through her coily black hair, each stroke releasing glimmers of water droplets that sparkled like stars. But she was no ordinary maiden. From her waist downward, her body covered in glistening scales, a tail swishing softly against the river water. This was Ewa, the girl who had once walked on land with her sisters, now bound to the river forever. Her reflection trembled in the water, her eyes filled with sadness. She touched her mirror lightly, as though trying to reach beyond it. Once, Ewa's laughter filled the courtyards of her father's house. Once, her feet danced upon the earth, for jealousy is a shadow that grows on silence, and love, when poisoned by envy, can turn kin into enemies. Before she became one with the river, Ewa was the youngest daughter of a proud family, cherished, admired, yet quietly despised. The river rippled, and her mind drifted back to a time when she was still human. The sound of pistols pounding yam echoed in the air. Ewa's father, Femi Adeleke, sat proudly in his compound, watching his daughters go about their evening chores. Among them, Ewa shone brightest, not just in beauty, but in grace and kindness. When she fetched water, villagers marveled at how even her footsteps seemed to dance. When she sang, birds paused mid-flight to listen. That night, by the fire, she laughed as her sisters told stories. Her laughter was like bells, her eyes glowing like the moon. But while her father and the villagers adored her, shadows stared silently in the hearts of her older sisters. They watched, they measured, they envied. Yet Ewa, innocent and trusting, never saw it. Ewa, smiling as she adjusted her beaded waist chain. Someday, my sisters, we will all marry fine men, and our father's house will be filled with songs of joy. Until then, we have each other. Her sisters' first smiles, their eyes betraying emotion too dark for her to notice. And so her story, her downfall, had already begun. The morning sun spilled gold over the thatched roofs of the village. Smoke coiled lazily from kitchen huts, and the scent of roasted yam and palm oil drifted through the air. The marketplace was alive with chatter, traders calling out, goats bleating, and children running barefoot through the dust. At the center of the bustle walked Ewa. Her water pot balanced perfectly on her head, her waist beads jingling with each graceful step. Her wrapper, woven in bright indigo patterns, clung to her slender frame as though the cloth itself adored her. Villagers turned their heads as she passed. Mothers whispered blessing under their breath. Young men forgot their wares, staring until their friends nudged them back to reality. A village woman smiling to her neighbor said, "See how the child carries herself, like the daughter of a goddess. Truly, her parents are blessed." Another woman sighed, "If my son could marry Ewa, I would dance until my feet bled." Ewa, ever humble, greeted everyone warmly. "Good morning, Mama Ngozi. May your yams sell quickly today." Her voice was soft, carrying the sweetness of palm wine. The old woman's eyes glistened, touched by her kindness, but from a distance her elder sisters watched. Their basket of okra and pepper rested untouched at their feet. Smiles were tight. First, the second sister clutching her wrapper. "Do you not see? Every glance, every blessing, every song always for Ewa. And what of us? Do we not carry the same blood? Are we not daughters of Adeleke too?" Their voices were low, but their hearts burned hotter than the sun above them. Later that evening, in their father's compound, the family gathered for supper. A large bowl of pounded yam sat at the center, steam rising with the rich aroma of egusi soup. Their father's eyes lingered on Ewa, pride softening his features. Femi Adeleke, chuckling, patting her shoulder. My jewel, the gods surely smiled when they made you. Any man who wins your heart will be favored for life. The firelight danced across Ewa's face as she blushed, lowering her gaze modestly. But in that same light, the eyes of her sisters darkened, shadows hiding in plain sight. Envy does not shout. It whispers, it coils in silence, waiting for its time to strike, and in the heart of our sisters, envy had already taken root. The morning sun filtered through the tall palm trees, glinting off the ripples of the village stream. Ewa sat quietly by the river. Filling her calabash, her beauty seemed to glow even brighter against the shimmer of the stream. Her sisters stood nearby, whispering and fussing over their reflections. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps broke the stillness. A tall young man, dressed in simple but fine clothes, appeared. His face was handsome, his skin glowing like someone who had known little hardship. He paused, wiping sweat from his broom and approaching the sisters. The young man gently began, "My maidens, please, I have walked a long distance. Could you spare me a little water to drink?" The two sisters exchanged quick glances, their noses turning up in disdain. Abeni, folding her arms, "Is this stream a tavern that every stranger should come begging for drink?" Motivayo snapping, "Go and fetch water for yourself. Do we look like servants to you?" They burst into laughter, tossing their heads with pride. The young man's smiles faltered, but he said nothing. Ewa, who had been watching silently, felt her heart stir with pity, lowered her eyes shyly, lifted her calabash and stepped forward. "Yes, you may drink from mine," she said. The young man looked at her, surprise and gratitude in his eyes. He knelt and drank deeply, his eyes never leaving her face. "May blessing never depart from your hands, kind one," he said. Ewa blushed, turning quickly back to the stream. The man gave her a final lingering look before disappearing into the trees. The sisters hissed behind their back, Abeni mocking Ewa the saints, giving water to ragged strangers as if kindness can buy her a husband. Moturare laughing, "Let her keep dreaming. No man of worth will notice her." Days later, the marketplace burst with excitement. Women balanced baskets of fruits on their heads, men pounded drums, and children ran about in joy. The news spread like fire. "The son of the richest merchant from across the great river has come to our village." The sisters nearly fainted with excitement. They pulled at each other's wrappers, chattering like parrots, Abeni clapping her hands. "Eh! If I catch his eyes, my life will be made," Motriot wailed. "Forget catching his eyes. It is I who will be adored with his riches. You, Abeni, can only dream." Ewa listened quietly, her heart calm, though her sisters mocked her silence. That evening, the village square erupted in celebrations. Lanterns hung from trees, palm wines flowed freely, and drums echoed into the night. The air was thick with laughter and anticipation. When the merchant's son finally arrived, all eyes turned to him. Sisters gasped, nearly choking on their words. It was the same young man from the stream, Abeni, whispering furiously, "Ah! The stranger! It was him!" Motswaro stamping her foot, and Ewa gave him water. Hey besties! Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. I don't take it for granted. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe already. On this channel, I currently have a membership program going on, and it's just for a little fee. You get exclusive perks that not just anybody gets. You get to tell me the kind of stories, titles, topics you want to see, and I take them as priority. You also get to be the first person to see my new uploads before any other person, and sneak peeks of my behind the scenes projects.